Feel like no other. Stop by or just call. Merry Christmas from love to one and to all. Together, let's drive.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Tony Annan, head men's soccer coach at the University of South Carolina. You're listening to 107.5 The Game, home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
Firehouse Subs, Hook and Ladder jingle, take one.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin slice.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just
Faster.
tastes better. Melty cheese and toast spread, mustard, mayo, perfect spread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
Today's holiday deal is Brick House Gourmet Coffee and Tea on 729 Meeting Street in West Columbia. Produced from only the finest leaves and beans. Get $50 of Brick House Gourmet Coffee and Tea for just $25 in increments of $10. Log on to 1075thegame.com and click on Holiday Deals.
This is Mark Benoit with Garnet Trust. We are on a mission to add 1,000 new members by December 31st. You can sign up today at garnettrust.com. For as little as $10 a month, you can make a difference on South Carolina's roster. Go Gamecocks.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
After being almost $500,000 in tax debt, I was listening to the radio one day and heard a ad for John Ecton Law Firm. So I gave him a call and met with him, and he gave me the confidence to trust him after the reason behind my tax problems anyways was trusting someone I probably should have never trusted. He did everything he said he was going to do and then some. His staff at the office were great, very knowledgeable. With John's help, I have no tax debt now, and I was able to have a family that otherwise I would have never been able to have.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
What's trending at 2?
Sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions.
2 locations in Lexington and Sandhills on the Halftime Show. Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me.
All right, halftime show.
A man that's sad and lonely.
Terry Ford, glad you could be with us as we go what's trending at 2. Sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions. All right, obviously what's trending is, we just saw the new offensive coordinator talk for the first time as the offensive coordinator, Mike Shula. Again, you're not going to get like, wow, they're going to do this or wow, they're going to do that. But I thought a couple things Shula said were interesting. But the big story coming out of the presser, no offense to Mike Shula, was we found out Kyle Kennard will not play in the bowl game. I get it. I mean, you're a borderline first-round pick in the NFL draft. You're rolling off to the draft. And you want to protect yourself from a possible injury that could really hurt your draft status. You want to start getting ready to see how you can maximize your draft position. Totally get it. Totally understand it. It's the way of the world. Again, I try to put myself in that position of, okay, you are that close to your professional career where you're going to make a good living. Second round pick, you got 7-figure signing bonus. First round pick, got even more than a 7-figure signing bonus. You're getting that extra year contract as a first round pick, but still second round money is good. So you want to not go out on the field in anything but a college football playoff game and get hurt and, put your professional career in jeopardy. I understand it. And to me, that's a decision you have to make. It's not easy. Now, I'm going to play for the good of my team, and I'm going to play for my, school and all that. You got to think about yourself too. Because college is supposed to be preparing you for your professional career. So I get Kyle Kennard. I do. Shane said there's one more player who's on the fence. Who could it be? It could be Nick Amenwari, Rocket Sanders. I don't know. But and if they do opt out, we'll find out. And if they don't, we'll most likely never know. But right now it's just Kyle Kennard, maybe one other. But that's nice. So if you just have one or two opt out, that's good regarding winning the football game. So that was the biggest story for me that came out of the presser was Kyle Kennard will not be in the bowl game. Not shocked, not surprised, but now we know. Also, Shane talking about Robbie Ashford, I thought that was interesting. Because typically Shane has not let a guy who wants to go in the portal stay. But it is a special circumstance with Robbie Ashford. There's only one quarterback. And Robbie Ashford has done everything that was asked of him and probably even more from a leadership standpoint. And from a guy with a great attitude who was the backup. Again, Lenore Sellers, you don't have to be a genius to sit there and see all the skills Lenore Sellers has and the upside and the ability. And you saw the playmaking skill set that he has, even as he's learning the position of quarterback. But if you're Robbie Ashford, it still stinks because you want to be a starter. And you got to slap your ego aside and say, I got to do what's good for the team, what's best for the team. And Robbie Ashford did. When he was called upon, he went out and played. And, the Akron game, he was excellent. So I get Shane. He goes to his leadership crew, and they're like, yeah, man, let him hang. I think that's great to let Robbie Ashford continue on. But Shane said, look, if we see that Robbie Ashford can't handle his business because he's, trying to find a landing spot in the portal while he is with the team, then we'll say, Robbie, we love you, but, go figure out your future. But, I think, again, this is why life is fluid at times. And hard, fast rules, yeah, you got to have them in certain situations. But at the end of the day, again, life is fluid. And this is one of those examples. Shane said if it was another position, there's a good chance he wouldn't have done it. But letting Robbie Ashford stick was interesting. Now on to Mike Shula. One of the things I thought he said that I went, was on some of the big plays Lenoris has made with his legs, especially down the stretch of the season, he missed an open receiver or missed a read that, as he gets more experience, he'll hit that play. Instead of taking off and running, he'll be able to, instead, make a play in the passing game, and who knows how big of a play that could be. But again, it's a mix of stuff. Lenore Sellers is always going to use his legs to make plays. That's never going to change. He is never going to be Tom Brady when it comes to quarterbacking because he's a dual threat guy who can, hurt you running the ball. But we've seen his development as a passer start as the year went along, and you hope it just gets better and better. That was pretty interesting from Mike Shula. And, again, we're not shocked. You're going to kind of keep going along with the offense that you've been running. You just want to have it evolve and get better and add more stuff to it when everybody's ready to add more stuff to their plate. It makes sense, makes perfect sense. I wasn't expecting Mike Shula to tell us something, oh, my God, they're going to do that? No, not at all. Even if they're thinking of doing some things in regard with tweaking the offense, Mike Shula's not going to go, okay, guys, here we're going to go, media. I brought a whiteboard along, and we're going to go over this thing together. No, not at all. Not at all. But Mike Shula, the new offensive coordinator, pretty much everything went the way you would expect it for getting in front of the media and talking. A little different than the last time Shane introduced an OC. Remember the Dow Loggins? Yeah, Shane was not happy that day. There was a lot of eyebrows about Dow Loggins. And Shane stuck up for his dude, which he should. Now, again, I thought getting a little personal with it, but I got Shane wanted to stick up for his hire and stick up for the guy he brought in because, you want your staff to know you got their back. Totally understand it. This time, none of that because it makes sense to promote Mike Shula. We'll see how it goes, but I see it from a mile away. And as soon as you found out Dow Loggins was rolling off to Appalachian State, it was like, Mike Shula might make sense. I mean, I remember the guys at Gamecock Central put up some posts about Shula being the guy. or possibly being the guy. So it makes a ton of sense. All right, what's trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions. We'll jump in, get you caught up on any of the things going on, whether it's transfer portal for South Carolina or anything else in the world of sports that's trending. That's coming up next here on the Halftime Show on the Game. Don't forget a special Citrus Bowl edition of Carolina Calls tonight with Shane and Todd Ellis at 6. And tomorrow, the women will take over 107.5 The Game. 11:30 pregame, 12 o'clock tip. The women take on Charleston Southern. That is tomorrow, 11:30 pre-noon tip. What's trending at 2? We'll keep rolling along. Get you updated on the transfer portal. That's next here on the Halftime Show on the Game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
It's back! The Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest. Just go to 1075thegame.com and register. The pot starts at $100. Every week it increases $100 if Carolina doesn't score a special teams touchdown. But if the Gamecocks do score a special teams touchdown, you could win the pool. Again, just go to 1075thegame.com and register. It's the Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest from 1075 The Game.
1075 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance. And cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
Hey, Gamecocks, are you looking to make this year a Carolina Christmas? Why not make this year a Garnet and Black occasion with gifts from Gamecock Traditions for everyone in the family? Get Under Armour, Cutter & Buck, Johnny O, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands, all in Gamecock style. Heading to the bowl game this year? Gamecock Traditions has long sleeve and short sleeve tees in both Garnet and Black in store now. Gamecock Traditions, 5134 Sunset Boulevard, or in Village of Sand Hills, or shop online at GamecockTraditions.com. Gamecock Traditions, your everything Gamecock store.
Cato's Power Equipment is thrilled to have a one-of-a-kind offering in our fleet of rental equipment. New for this fall, we have a Gravely 52-inch stand-on battery-powered zero-turn available for rental starting at $175 a day. This mower will cut for 8 hours on a single charge. It has no messy belts, pulleys, or other service parts to cause interruptions to your workday. Come experience what dozens of other grass cutters have, and rent, demo, or purchase one of our amazing Gravely EV sit-down or stand-up mowers. Available right now at Cato's Power Equipment.
I'm with Stephen Samuels of the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm. Stephen, what does True Injuries, True Lawyers really mean?
It means a lot. It means we help people with truly serious injuries, and our entire team will do whatever it takes to make it right. Even if your case is difficult, we have the resources and experience to go toe-to-toe with the big insurance companies. We've done this, and we've got you.
Samuels Reynolds. True Injuries, True Lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Hey, this is Crystal Gerdison with Crystal Clean Janitorial. Come home to a clean household and some free time in your day with Crystal Clean Janitorial. We do the work so you don't have to. Call me today at 843-990-8802. Crystal Clean Janitorial. We do commercial and residential. We clean up what others leave behind. For a clean home or office, call me today at 843-990-8802.
Honey, look, the hookers. They've moved off the highway and now they're all over the parking lot.
What are all those Schroeder's towing trucks doing in that parking lot, though?
Must be towing all those unauthorized cars parked in the lot. Good thing the business owner called Schroeder's Towing to keep their parking lot clear for just their customers. Didn't those cars see the free signage that Schroeder's provides to business owners to deter unauthorized parking?
I guess not.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
See website for details. Bill Sappin is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, the credit card bill came and we're maxed out.
Great! Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by for a few weeks.
We should do what my brother did. He went to billshappen.com and got $3,000 the next day.
With our bad credit, I don't think so.
Billshappen.com is different. They are one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope, my brother said it was easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Great news! I went to BillsHappen.com, and we will have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence. What's trending at 2?
Sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions.
2 locations in Lexington and Sandhills on the Halftime Show on the Game Network.
Sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions here at the Game. Terry Ford, glad you could be hanging around as we were just kind of getting you caught up on things going on with South Carolina that we have not gotten to since the presser with Mike Shula being introduced as the offensive coordinator, and Shane, of course, talking about a couple of things as South Carolina gets ready for the Citrus Bowl against Illinois. All right, Kentucky transfer tight end Jordan Dingle has committed to South Carolina, according to Pete Nakos on 3. Again, South Carolina looking for a veteran tight end, losing Josh Simon. Still have Michael Smith. Brady Hunt's hurt. They still have Michael Smith. Dingle had 43 career catches in 39 games for Kentucky. Looked at, not looked at high on transfer portal boards, but a guy that has had some moments at Kentucky, both catching the football and blocking in the run game. So nice veteran ad by South Carolina, tight end Jordan Dingle coming through the transfer portal. Also, Zach Atkins, another reason why you see Jordan Dingle coming in. Zach Atkins, who was the tight end that South Carolina was looking at originally on the visitor list, decided to commit to Colorado. And that means Jordan Dingle now steps into that spot. Florida defensive line transfer Kelby Collins did not end up visiting South Carolina, committed instead to Alabama yesterday. Now remember, Collins is from the state of Alabama, so Kelby Collins committing to Alabama. So that's why, Jordan Dingle, though, coming in through the portal to South Carolina. It's just like, you know how this goes by now. It's all over the place. Marquis Anderson returning to South Carolina for 2025, signing a deal through the Garnet Trust. More transfer portal news as we look at the dates, who's visiting. It's the 18th of December. Tentatively, Derek Simmons, not tentatively, should be. Derek Simmons, the offensive lineman from Western Carolina, should be in for a 2-day visit. Tomorrow, Miles Norwood, defensive back from Ball State, comes in, as does Justice Haynes, the top running back, ranked coming through the transfer portal on the 19th. So that's a big one, if it could happen. If it could happen, that would be nice. And we'll see what's going on with Horatio Fields, if the Wake Forest wide receiver will be coming in. Was scheduled for the 20th or 21st. We'll see what's going on there. But again, South Carolina will be looking to add a veteran wide receiver with some production through the portal. It's pretty important as you move forward at the end of the day. So we'll see. Again, you look, the wide receiver room, you have a lot of possibilities in there. Nick Harbor looked like he was finally starting to happen for Harbor at wide receiver. You have Mazeo Bennett, who gave you some moments as a freshman, and Jared Brown coming back. Jared Brown hurt a bit last year, but you get a guy, a veteran who has made plays in the past, coming back as well. So you will, but I think adding a veteran wide receiver with, a track record will be a nothing but a good thing. All right, South Carolina also, if you haven't heard, former 5-star defensive tackle Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy has committed to the Gamecocks out of the portal. Dindy was a former 5-star. We've talked about it. He was part of that historic A&M recruiting class. Remember that thing where they got like, what 150 5-stars it felt like? Well, Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy was part of that, has been hurt for his time at A&M. He has 3 years, up to 3 years of eligibility left, so he will come in. And obviously South Carolina needing defensive line, especially interior defensive line help through the portal, losing a bunch of talent. Losing T.J. Sanders will end up in the NFL draft. You'll be losing Boogie Huntley and Tonka Hemingway, DeAndre Jules. A lot of guys will be leaving. You still have Goodwine. You still have Barrett. And now you have added a former 5-star recruit for the interior of the defensive line. So that's another little extra tidbit if you haven't heard that yet. All right, what also is trending is a nice win last night in hoops. 91-88 South Carolina over Clemson. It was something, man. What a game. Lamont Paris afterwards talked about just how wild this victory was over Clemson.
Yeah, they were, all of them. I mean, just from a spectator standpoint, just watching, what a treat to see these games and how they unfold at the end. You got all kinds of drama. You got buzzer beaters, one that sends it into overtime in this game. In year one, Chico hits a buzzer beater to win the game. It's just the way it shakes out with these two teams when they match up. And you know, exhausting is exactly right. It's amazing that you could say that after just all you're doing is coaching a game, but it's just an emotional roller coaster. You're all over the place, and so it is a little exhausting when you're done.
Yeah, I mean, look, that thing was back and forth. It was wild. Leads were blown. Big plays were made. You know, again, we talked about in the opening riff of the show. You give the Gamecocks credit for the resiliency. You blew a 14-point lead in the first half. Came back, though. Had your chance to seal the deal late in regulation, missed free throws, and then let a shooter get off a three-pointer instead of fouling him before he could get in position to shoot it, even though everything we hear is that the strategy was, foul the shooter so he couldn't get off a three. But you come back from that, to the credit of the Gamecocks. They were aggressive coming out in overtime. They got the lead, and they held on for a 91-88 victory. And I did think it was interesting, though. We had a texter send a text, and we talk about it. You're up by 3, and, instead of once again fouling a shooter before he got a 3 off, Chase Hunter again had a look from 3 to tie the game. He airballed it. I thought Hunter had a better look at the end of overtime than he did at the end of regulation when he made that crazy running off of one leg banked 3 to send the game to overtime. But like I've said through the show, it's just me. If it's, Coach Terry Ford, I'm fouling the shooter before he gets in position to take the shot. That's what Lamont wanted at the end of regulation. Players didn't get that done, but you get the W anyway because resiliency. This team could have fallen apart after blowing the 14-point lead, after not executing at the end of regulation, and now you're in overtime. But instead, Gamecocks kept rolling, kept coming. So there is a lot of credit to be given for South Carolina to still grind out a 91-88 win despite some of that adversity. All right, Lamont Paris, after the game, was talking about what happens once Clemson ties the contest on that crazy 3. You got to regroup. Here's Lamont Paris talking about getting regrouped going into overtime.
No, it's hard. It's hard to do. In fact, I think if you're the team that is essentially deflated by the extra free time that you're going to play, I think it's hard. It's hard emotionally and mentally to gather yourself and get back in a place where you can then do all the things that you need to win in the next 5 minutes. You get, they call it in poker. They say, I forget what they call it once you're on tilt. Mm-hmm. Right? You make get a couple of bad beats in poker, and then you start making wild decisions with the rest of the money you have, and next thing you know, you're out of money. And that's what happens in basketball. You get in into overtime, particularly if you've made a mistake or something slipped through your fingers or missed a free throw, whatever it was, you're trying to make up so badly that you'll oftentimes have a little sabotage going on. So a lot of credit to the guys to be able to regroup and then and play well for 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the guys did regroup. Coaching staff regrouped, got them together. It's like, all right, guys, chill. We can't go back and fix what we just kind of brain cramped on. Forget it. It's over. It's nothing. We've been better than this team for the most part for 40 minutes. Let's go be better than them for 5 more. Let's do it. All right, cool. Break. Gamecocks, whatever. So that is a lot of thumbs up for what South Carolina did to pull that W. Here's Lamont Paris also talking about how important this W was last night for South Carolina.
Very important win. They not only to the eyeball test, and the fact that they have. We told them, hey, you know what I told you about that home and home again? I'm throwing that out the door next year. Love you too, man. All right. But yeah, to get a quality win like that against, and we scheduled intentionally this way. If you look at our losses, sans the North Florida game, first game of the year, and they had a good team and they were ready. Our losses are on the road at a top 25 ranked team at the time at Indiana, away from home against a top 25 team in Xavier, and then you follow that up with a couple more high major games, ACC games, and then you come with another team that you know is going to be good. Not that we scheduled this, we play it every year, but I think it's really important for as we start to build resume and start to get into the teeth of our conference, and if we can finish it out good, then everything's out there for us. It'll be, how many of those can you win? Because I think it was out of 18 games, conference games, 15 were quad 1 wins. That's bananas.
Yeah, I mean, you get your first quad 1 win of the year, and you're getting a lot of chances to pull more quad 1 wins in the SEC because obviously the conference is ridiculous this year. But you get your first one against a top 25 team, and Clemson's good. We've been talking about it the last couple of days. It's a good squad. They got 5 guys who hit over 36% from 3. They got some bigs who can score. They grind you on defense. You saw what Hunter can do, the damage that he can do. So, South Carolina got a W over a good basketball team last night. So, nice win for Lamont Paris and the crew. And now you move forward, and the SEC schedule obviously is coming up soon. All right, that's what's trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions. Tonight, Carolina Calls, a special Citrus Bowl version with Todd Ellis and Shane Beamer. It kicks in at 6 p.m. And tomorrow, the regular Carolina Calls for basketball season with Lamont and Derek Scott, also at 6 p.m. The greatest day in the history of the world is December 18th. We'll talk about that coming up. Halftime show. Terry Ford, appreciate you just chilling out with us till 3 on the game.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
This is Bill Gunn for Old Timey Meat Market. I spend my nights with my son, my daughter, enjoying cooking out with Old Timey Meat Market Foods, and you need to visit one of their 3 locations, St. Andrews, South Congaree, and Lexington, where you'll find their shelves stocked with various cuts and grades of beef, pork, poultry, seafood, and of course exotic meats. Selections are always fresh, never frozen, competitively priced, and of the absolute highest quality. So get all of your needs at Old Timey Meat Market.
Old Timey Meat Market, quality selection, a cut above the rest.
Today's holiday deal is Brickhouse Gourmet Coffee and Tea on 729 Meeting Street in West Columbia. Produced from only the finest leaves and beans. Get $50 of Brickhouse Gourmet Coffee and Tea for just $25 in increments of $10. Log on to 1075thegame.com and click on Holiday Deals.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
In my world, every day is game day. So when our partner Sonos installed their game-changing sound system at the man cave, I immediately said, I think I need that in my house, in my home man cave. And when you hear that sound, it's different. It's game-changing. So make your game day setup the game day setup when you build your own game-changing sound system. And you can do so at Sonos.com/Dan Patrick. Once again, Sonos.com/Dan Patrick.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
Firehouse Subs, hook and ladder jingle, take one.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin slice.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Melty cheese and toast spread, mustard, mayo, purpose bread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
Are you going to start the new year dealing with the same old joint pain, losing sleep, not being able to take walks? Or do you want to imagine a new year without those achy joints and no more pain pills? So do it now. Take action and get the pain relief you deserve for 2025. Call QC Kinetics now for lasting relief. QC Kinetics local medical professionals are waiting for you, and their advanced treatment protocols in regenerative medicine have helped tens of thousands of people. So imagine a new year. No more steroid shots, no more pain pills, and no more shoulder aches. QC Kinetics uses the body's healing properties to attack the root cause of your pain and revitalize your joints so you can move again. This is the future of medicine. So if you've been told that surgery is your best or only option, you deserve a second opinion. So find out now if all natural regenerative medicine is for you. Call QC Kinetics at 803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860. This consultation is free, and you can use your HSA and FSA dollars. Live your best life in 2025. Get started now.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
The greatest day in the history of the world on the Halftime Show.
The buzzard in the sand, it strode off slowly toward the town. I needed dinner and a place.
All right, greatest day in the history of the world.
My weight around.
The 18th of December here on the game. Terry Ford, appreciate you. Just chilling with us here till 3 on the game. Then the post-game show with Elijah Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central because, Jay wants to hang out with his family for the holidays, whatever. All right, greatest day in the history of the world, December 18th. We always try to give you a little old school to start it up. 1930, Adolph Rupp coached his first game at Kentucky. 67-19, the Cats beat Georgetown College. Rupp, of course, retired as one of the most winningest coaches in the history of college basketball. 879 wins, 4 national championships. And everyone talks about Kentucky as well, losing that 1966 national championship game to Texas Western. But here's something that really we don't bring up. two things about Adolph Rupp. One was the 1951 point-shaving scandal at Kentucky. Rupp was the head coach during the point-shaving scandal of 1951. In October of 51, former Kentucky players Alex Groza, Bill Spivey, and Ralph Beard, also Dale Barnstable, were arrested for taking bribes from gamblers to shave points during the NIT. This game occurred during the same year that Kentucky won their second straight NCAA title under Rupp. Rupp and the university were criticized by the presiding judge for creating an atmosphere for the violations to occur and for failing in his duty to observe the amateur rules, to build character and to protect the morals and health of his players. Rupp denied any knowledge of the point shaving, and no evidence was ever brought against him to show he was connected in any way to that incident. But the NCAA, their investigation found Kentucky had committed several rule violations, including giving illegal spending money to players on several occasions, also allowing some ineligible athletes to compete. As a result, the SEC voted to ban Kentucky from competing for a year, and the NCAA requested all other basketball-playing members not to schedule Kentucky. Because of this, the Wildcats had to cancel the 1952-53 season. Years later, it was looked at as the first death penalty ever dropped on a college program. How about that? One other thing about Rupp was he was massively superstitious. He used to carry a lucky Buckeye in his pocket. Favorite sign of good luck was finding a pin, especially a bobby pin on game day, because he thought that would be the difference in winning and losing. And also he had a superstition about wearing suits. He had bought a new blue suit to replace his old brown one when he was coaching at Freeport. He wore his new blue suit to the game. Team got beat. Rupp never again wore another blue suit. Only brown. So pretty superstitious. All right, it's a little deep dive on Adolph Rupp at Kentucky, who won his first game on this day in 1930. All right, this day in 1983, Wayne Gretzky scores his 100th point of the season in the Oilers' 34th game. That's how ridiculous Wayne Gretzky was. 100 points in 34 games. No one had ever gotten to 100 points that fast in NHL history. That season, Wayne Gretzky finished with 205 points. Yeah, just insane. 1995, Jerry Rice of the 49ers records the fifth highest yardage total for a receiver in NFL history with 289 yards and 3 touchdown catches in a win over the Vikings. Indianapolis, in this day in 2005, won their first 13 games of the season, fourth team in history to do so, but they lost at home to San Diego. And remember, they were resting their regulars, Indianapolis, for the stretch run. It was kind of controversial at the time. It was like, go for the O, man. Go to be undefeated. But the Colts wanted to get themselves positioned for the playoffs. This day in 2006, 10th-ranked Arizona State beat Texas Tech in the second outdoor game in women's college basketball history. But Reddy was called because of rain with 4:18 left in the game. They played the contest at Chase Field, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're doing the greatest day in the history of the world here on the game. This day in 2011, the Green Bay Packers' 19-game winning streak, second longest in NFL history, was snapped, losing 19-14 at Kansas City. Packers are good. Remember, that's back in the Aaron Rodgers days when they won their only Super Bowl. 2016, New England beats Denver 16-3 to clinch the AFC East, earn a first-round bye. It marks the 8th straight division title for the Patriots, the longest streak in NHL history. It broke their tie they had with the LA Rams in the early to mid late 70s. They both had 7 straight division titles. New England is the only team in history to win 13 division titles in a 14-game span, by the way. So there's your greatest day in the history of the world, December 18th, here on the game. Terry Ford, please appreciate you hanging out. Our Firehouse Subtext, the hour is coming up. We'll also do a little handoff with Elijah Campbell, who is rolling the post-game show with Jack Velcher today. Jay has the day off, so that is coming up as well. Basketball Sunday for the men. Of course, they played last night against Clemson. The men will get back at it Sunday against Radford, 1:30 pregame, 2 o'clock tip. You can hear that right here on the game. Our Firehouse Subtext the hour and our handoff, sponsored by Little Pigs with Elijah Campbell. That is coming up here on the halftime show on the game in Columbia, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game. Check out this holiday deal from The Game.
Today's holiday deal special is Brick House Coffee. Get 50% off a $50 gift certificate in increments of $10.
Just go to 1075thegame.com and click on Holly Deals from The Game.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Old Trapper, what's your beef? It is officially Michael Penix Jr. time in the ATL. And as tough as that is for my guy Kirk, it's an obvious call for Atlanta. And I think that he knows it too, given his body language and what he said on Monday night. I have never seen that guy look or sound more defeated. He knew it was done. I'm Jim Rome.
Football season is in full swing, and you can take full advantage by winning some cash with Sleeper Picks. Sleeper Picks is a fantasy game, but you could win real money. Just pick more or less than at least 2 of your favorite player stats. If you're right, you could win. You can pick up to 8 players to win up to 100 times your money. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to play $5, and they'll receive $55 in free bonus entries. That's right. If you deposit $25 and play $5, they'll give you 11 $5 bonus entries to start playing. So download the Sleeper app now and use promo code BLOCK and get in on this promo before time runs out. What are you waiting for? Download Sleeper today and unlock one of the fastest growing fantasy sports apps in the world. Use code BLOCK to claim the play $5, get $55 bonus entry offer. That's code BLOCK. Must be at least 18 years old in most states and present in state where it is legal to wager. Promo code location, other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details at sleeper.com. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help. Sponsored by Sleeper, a Blitz product.
It's football season, and Uber Eats is dropping undefeated deals on all your game day favorites. This week, score buy one, get one free 6-piece boneless wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. Now on Uber Eats. Craving even more? We've got you covered with game day deals on pizza, burgers, tacos, and more all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms, taxes, and fees apply. See app for details.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
It's time for Text of the Hour on the Firehouse Subs text line on the Halftime Show.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, Halftime Show. Terry Ford just hanging around up until 3. Get our Firehouse subtext of the hour in here at 803-404-6100. Where's it at here? Where's it at?
Digging for it.
Oh, here we go. course, a ton of stuff. We got our buddy Elijah Campbell here for the handoff, sponsored by Little Pigs on Alpine. A lot of stuff going on, obviously, in the Gamecock world today. It's not going to be tough to fill 3 hours.
No.
Not today, bro.
But the opposite of difficult to fill 3 hours today.
So, I mean, in case you haven't heard as a Gamecock fan, Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, former 5-star high school recruit that went to Texas A&M in that historic class, is committed to South Carolina. Just injured and could have gotten going at A&M. He has up to 3 years of eligibility if he wants it. Jordan Daigle, tight end from Kentucky. Again, his numbers aren't going to wow you. He was a guy, though, that helped out also in the run game. Daigle is committed to South Carolina. Atkins, the other tight end they were chasing, committed, I believe, to Colorado. Do you see that? Would you see where Caden Salter, quarterback from Liberty?
No, I have not seen that.
Committed to Colorado.
Wow.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, especially considering they landed Julian Lewis, who is one of the highest ranked quarterbacks in the 2025, high school recruiting cycle. That's odd. I mean, unless Julian Lewis is cool with staying and developing a year, Salter's a guy you can put in right away.
I don't think Salter would be going there if he thinks he's going to be the backup to Lewis. If he doesn't have a legit shot to win the gig, I don't think Salter is going to go there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's a good group of 5 quarterback. We'll see how it translates to the power conference. But
he's one of those guys, too. I mean, he went to Tennessee as a highly touted prospect, couldn't win the job, and then goes to a G5 school where he gets an opportunity and a quarterback-friendly offense and put up some crazy, stupid numbers.
Yep, absolutely. So, Salter, again, going to Colorado.
Interesting.
All right, those are the 2 transfer portal additions by South Carolina today. You find out through Shane Beamer that Kyle Kennard will not play in the bowl game. Not a surprise. Now we just know it officially. And Shane said there's one more player who's on the fence. We can speculate all day. Is it Emmett Worry? Is it Rocket Sanders? But one other player is like 50-50, but we know Kyle Kennard is not playing. So, and again, not a surprise. And I got zero problem with it. I totally understand, totally get it. If I'm Kyle Kennard, man, look, do I want to stay and play? Sure. And it's almost like your head and your heart, right? Your heart wants to go out there and play in the Citrus Bowl with your buds, get that 10th win, and then you can be golden to the people of Columbia, South Carolina, the Midlands forever. You'll never buy a beer or a sandwich ever again in Columbia, right?
Yeah.
But then there's that professional part of this, man. The business part says, what if I go out there and I get Jalen Smith?
Oh, goodness. Yeah,
right?
That was a gruesome one.
So I've got to protect myself for my future earnings. It's got to be a fight between your head and your heart, right? And either way is your decision, and that's fine.
There's no wrong answer.
No.
Yeah, that's the whole point
If you
of
decide you want to protect your future earnings and, look at yourself in your next step, which is a professional career, I got zero issue with it. Totally understand. I really do. The other thing is Mike Shula today introduced to the media. Look, there was no, and you listened to the presser in the other room, he didn't say anything where you go, wow, really? Because he's not going to do that, right?
Or at least give you the in-depth X's and O's stuff that you'd be like morbidly curious about. Like, what wrinkle would you like to do that maybe Dell Loggins didn't? Or, I am glad he at least, was asked a question about comparing quarterbacks, not comparing, but how he managed quarterbacks that were built like Lenoris, and most notably Cam Newton, who he was Cam's first quarterbacks coach in the NFL. And end up being his offensive coordinator for his MVP season in the year that they went to the Super Bowl. But I guess that gives us a little more to get to do in the offseason in terms of watching some of that 2015 Panthers tape and maybe seeing if we can get some foreshadowing as to what type of stuff we might see called with Lenoris here in 2025.
I thought it was interesting when he said these guys are passers first. That was pretty, oh, okay, I get you. Basically, they're passers first who can, by the way, destroy you if they take off and run, right?
Yeah, or the clip of he's like, don't tell Lenoris I said this. But
I thought that was really interesting where Lenoris, on some of these big plays he's made with his legs, he missed a read or missed a throw. He didn't make that read or make that throw, so he had to take off and run. I thought that was pretty
That was interesting,
something there, too.
That was interesting. He's going to hold him to a pretty high standard as a passer.
Which he should. I mean, we see what this dude can do with his legs.
Yes.
And if he can consistently start to rip it as a passer, to go with what he can do when he takes off, who stops him, right?
Exactly. I mean, if you can marry the 160-yard performance against Clemson and the ability to fight off 15-plus tackles in a game, along with what you saw in the Missouri game where he throws for 350 and takes you down the field, up and down the field all game, and takes you down the field on a game-winning touchdown drive with less than a minute left, yeah, I think you have yourself an ideal quarterback at any level of football.
No doubt. And so we got the Mike Shule today. We had Shane, some transfer portal stuff. And then you get the coaches all getting love from the Board of Trustees. You know, again, Shula 3 years at $1.1 million per. I mean, that's the SEC, man. I thought Clayton White getting a bump and it goes up as the years go.
There's escalators in there, yeah.
Yeah,
I
thought that was interesting. And look, we don't know what Clayton wants to do. Does Clayton want to be a head coach? Your first thought is, yeah. We don't know for sure what
Not
Clayton
every coordinator wants to. He could be a John Chavis and be a defensive coordinator for his entire career.
Just wants to coach ball, doesn't want to deal with being the runner of the program, just wants to be the runner of the defense. But this is showing Clayton love, right? Hey,
yes.
Man, we want to keep you. We love you. And this is just the way these things go. Last year, going into November, our conversation was, is Clayton White going to be the ex-defensive coordinator here? Because this defense is getting worked. Remember?
I had those conversations going down the elevator after the Florida loss last year with people who did we just watch his last game as the DC? Because they blew a 10-point lead in which they could not stop Florida at all on a third down or a fourth down, rather, especially on fourth and long late in that game. It almost felt then that there might be, coaching on borrowed time, but yeah, I mean, from that point on, it's been a completely different story with the Carolina defense.
Yeah, and we remember we were questioning why are you using like a Nick Amenwari or a DQ Smith to cover the slot. We remember all that stuff last year.
Yep.
Now, Clayton, here's some escalators. Let's extend the contract. You did a great job, and Clayton did. This is not to diminish what Clayton did this year, but you know what also helps a defensive coordinator get better?
Getting Dylan Stewart and Kyle Kennard.
Yeah, better players.
Getting better players. Getting more good players to to supplement that depth. Bringing Gilbert Edmond back was very nice. Bringing in players like Monkel Goodwine to be the backup defensive lineman, so you can almost platoon swap
DeAndre
at
Jules.
certain points in the game. DeAndre Jules, yeah, that helps a lot. But also identifying that talent, because these guys recruit their side of the ball. They recruit their positions for position coaches. That matters a lot. I think, it helps out a lot to get Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart, and also helps that he's been able to put them in the correct positions to be able to maximize just how good they are.
And the other part is, this is very tough for coordinators because, again, they get paid a lot of money and you want to justify your existence. We all do. When you get paid a lot of money, you want to justify why they're, dropping that direct deposit on you every couple of weeks, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very tough for coaches to pull back and do less. But sometimes the right coaching move is do less. And Clayton didn't blitz like a ton because he didn't have to, right?
That's the luxury. It's a luxury to not have to blitz that much.
Rush 4, drop 7. Every now and then you saw, one of the backers blitz, or maybe you got a DB blitzing. But for the most part, Clayton said, my 4 are going to beat yours.
Yeah.
And they did. And so I give Clayton a lot of credit for that, because a lot of guys can't do that because they want to say, hey, you see my fancy exotic blitzes? Well, bro, you don't need to, because look at your edges. Look at TJ Sanders. You don't need to blitz, 41% of the time. No. Clayton blitzed less than 15% of the time in a lot of games. To his credit. So
straight up didn't need to send anybody else.
No.
When you're that dominant up front, that allows you to do a lot of other stuff on the back end, different types of coverages on the back end, and affords them more time. I think that's one of the reasons why Nick Amenwari's stock went up, because the pass rush was getting there so fast that quarterbacks had to make decisions. Nick can read a quarterback a lot easier when they're forced to make decisions in 2 seconds. And it was just easier to read. He was able to jump passes and have a couple of pick sixes and have just an absolutely incredible year that's going to ultimately result in him being like the first or second safety taken in the NFL draft.
Yep. That leads us to our Firehouse Sub text hour at 803-446-100. Can anyone with a microphone explain to me why the offensive line coach would have gotten any type of raise? Lonnie Teasley got a bump. Look, the offensive line has been an issue. No one's going to try to say, oh, no, it has been an issue. But Teasley has done a great job as a recruiter. And I guess the thought process is, now you have this crew of young 4-stars, a 5-star. Now you need to develop them. Now you're on the clock to develop them. So I think you go, Lonnie, great job recruiting, right? Now develop these guys. And that's the next step. And if they don't develop in the next year or two, then you probably are looking at a new offensive line coach at some point. So we appreciate the text always, 803-404-6100. What do you got coming up on the old shindig with you and Jack?
Oh, man, I'm going to be breaking down for the first half of the show. Jack will be joining me at 4:30 to round out the show, but got a detailed breakdown of that wild game we saw at CLA last night, some thoughts on the Shula press conference, and starting to get a Citrus Bowl preview a little bit now that we know who's playing.
That's coming up on the postgame show.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.